was it?
This is a special edition of the Smart Youth Entrepreneur segment. It is special because it is dedicated to the first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, popularly known as KK. Dr. Kaunda served as president from 1964 when Zambia got its independence up to 1991. And ever since, Zambia has been known as a beacon of peace globally. On today's segment, we get to interact with Mr. P from City Clothing Factory, who is known for designing the best safari suits in the town. Of course, we are cognizant of Dr. Kaunda's love for the safari suits. Mr. P, welcome to our interview and tell us more about City Clothing Factory.
Thank you for this interview. I appreciate it. First of all, condolences to the Kaunda family for a great loss to our father of the nation. So, City Clothing Factory was established in 1962. Set up by my great uncle, Mr. Prashant Vaghela, and my father, Prashant Vaghela, joined him a year later and set up this factory that we have here. We make lots of uniforms, especially school uniforms and protective clothing. But when it came to the safari suit for His Excellency Kenneth David Kaunda, we were very honored to be able to go and do it for him. How it came about was a very unusual way. Back in the 60s, when there was a liberation struggle, there were freedom fighters that were in our neighboring countries. And in these neighboring countries, they were being outfitted with combat uniforms. And out of these combat uniforms, His Excellency at that time said, how else can we get these uniforms done in another way? Like, he was looking at the safari suit for himself. And the Minister of Defense that time says, no, City Clothing can do these things. So that's when we were invited to State House and to measure him personally. And that's when we got the chance to see him and see what he wanted.
Interesting. What year was it?
I think 1963, probably just before independence, that's when he came. But more importantly, it was just that initial contact. And then after independence, if you notice from all the pictures you see, that we were able to see that he took off the usual suit that was worn probably in his struggles with going abroad, going to seek some help. But when it came to his meeting with his African counterparts, if you notice, a lot of the pictures are done in safari suits. It was probably something that was fashionable at that time, but I think there's something very unique about the KK safari suit.
Okay, so how has been conducting businesses in a country that has been known as a beacon peace since independence, and how do you perceive business in a peaceful environment?
Business always prospers when there's peace, and I believe that His Excellency was trying to harbor that kind of peace, not just within Zambia, but for the neighboring countries. I think if you listen to all the documentaries that is going on right now, everything echoes just around how he wanted peace throughout the whole region. And from the whole region, we're talking about Zimbabwe, South Africa, Angola, Namibia, Mozambique, Malawi. When we're all one as one nation and one sort of Southern Africa, when it comes to doing business, I think it's just straightforward. We are able to get our goods in through various channels, whether it's one country giving us the other thing and the other thing giving the other thing. We all work together and we are able to prosper that way.
Okay, so as the saying goes, clothes mean nothing until someone lives in them. Dr. Kaunda was mostly rocking his safari suits, now popularly known as the Kaunda suits. How do you intend to maintain his legacy with the ever-changing fashion world?
Well, the safari suit never really lost its feel or its touch or its authenticity. Today I'm wearing one, and it's something which my father wore, and when he wore it, it was a symbol of KK's uniqueness, symbol of who he was. Today we may see this safari suit in a different way, maybe tweaked a bit, short sleeve, long sleeve, with a different shape, because everyone's going for slim fit now and the like. But at the end of the day, the safari suit still stands its place in the history of wearing uniforms and clothing.
Do you still have a lot of orders of these safari suits?
Well, if we can go back in history and see that from the time he wore the safari suit, it became, like I said, unique. However, it was almost like his symbol. That's the way he would wear it. His cabinet ministers wore it. If you look at our coat of arms, it's got a young boy here and a young girl here. The young boy was wearing a safari suit from the 80s, the 90s. Safari suits were still worn in schools. So they were khaki, they were grey. That was the main color that they were being worn with. And obviously, I think the Capasso uniforms were also the same thing. So sure, such uniforms stood the test of time, but at the same time, it was something that distinguished ourselves as this is what Zambians wear. And if you could see it from the president to his cabinet ministers to not even just local businessmen wearing it, it just shows our uniqueness. It just shows that we are all one. And I believe in that. And today, if I wore one, people remember KK for that. And you go abroad, you wear one, they'll say, "Oh, that's a KK suit," or "That's what he was wearing at that time."
Okay, so with the great impact and influence that Dr. K. Kaunda's fashion touch has had on your businesses, how do you receive the news about his demise?
Well, he lived a very long life and a very full life. And I think maybe we will mourn him as we have been instructed, but I think it's a time to also celebrate his life. A life that he brought all Zambians together. We go by the motto, "One Zambia, One Nation," as we're about to enter our elections right now. It's something that still needs to continue. For young people out there who do not know who he was, I hope and I pray that they listen to all the documentaries that's going on, and they'll see what he was about, what he wanted to achieve, and how he brought everybody together. Yes, as for my family and for my business and for my company, we are very saddened, and our condolences, our deepest condolences to the Kaunda family for his loss.
Okay, so you've mentioned that he coined the term "One Zambia, One Nation." Looking at this theme, what is the importance of unity and peace in the business world?
You know, with everything that we do, if we are not united, we are divided. When we do such things together, everything prospers, everything works well. Even in a business, within my own factory now, I have all walks of life. I got guys, I got girls there, I got people from a different background, and if we're not together, we are divided. So what he tried to do from a very early age, from the colonial masters, to unite the country. Some people do it through sport, some people do it through, just your being, but KK did it in such his own unique way. I mean, we're just talking about safari suit right now, but it goes beyond that. You're talking about a man who brought the whole nation together. I think he even asked we should integrate, whether you're from this tribe to this tribe. So the One Zambia, One Nation was taken very seriously that time, and I believe it still can be taken seriously. And our young people today and the current people who do not know him, they should really look into this motto, and it's supposed to be what we are made of.
Okay. So, in your individual capacity, how would you describe the late Dr. Kenneth Kaunda?
He was a great man. He was a great man who stood tall. He stood tall amongst all of his counterparts. He carried a presence about him. I've met him probably on a handful of occasions during my golfing time when I was a young man. I got his autograph. I also met him at State House when a fundraising golf tournament. But he had an aura about him. Whenever you walked there, you could feel like you're talking to a great man. And when he spoke, you only could just listen to his wisdom. You could also understand his love for the people. You could also see how he looked out to you, and he could look at you and still remember your name. That to me shows a man of integrity, of promise, and somebody who cared for so many people. He didn't care if you were from this side or this side. He just wanted everyone to be together. I'll remember him that way.
An interesting man he was. As we near the end of the show, You have got 5 minutes. I hope you'll be able to exhaust it to get to tell people who would want any of your products, or should I say this is the 5 minutes that you get to advertise City Clothing.
So this is our design tables. This is where we fold the fabric, and we do several doubles here, obviously, to save instead of cutting one individually. So they'll fold it, they'll make so many of them. There's a big cutter there that cuts the exact shape that he puts the template on. So we've got one here. There's another gentleman who's not well right now, but he'd be that side. And we've got our fabric that we pick from this way. And yeah, after they cut it, they bundle it together and it goes into the factory. If you can come along with me. Step. There's another table this side which also does the same thing, so we can be working together. Used to be a section where you used to just do school uniforms only and then protective, but it's a mixture now. If you come with me now. This is my factory. So you can see in the middle there we've got sewing machines, regular sewing machines. At the moment I've got 28 of them, but there were a lot more than that if you can see from the line, but you know, business has been a bit difficult, COVID and the like. Then I've got different machines on the side here that do different parts to the uniform. Overlocking machines that side, elastic machine that side, buttonhole machine that side, a batak machine this side. All these things, all these machines work together to make the uniform. And we're not just talking about a simple uniform, we're talking about something that's going to be strong. There's that slogan, they say, you know, cheap is expensive. It's true. Because when you get something that is just made with this as regular sewing machine, like they might find in the markets and the like, you're going to end up having something that's going to be ripped and torn. You know, when you look at school uniforms and protective, we're talking about people who are wearing these things all the time. They're running around the fields, they're out in the workplace, up and down steps and wherever, and they need something that's sturdy, strong. So got a machine over there that does the triple stitching, so it's strong here. Then you've got the one I just told you about, a batak machine, which is on the pocket, which keeps it very strong. Then obviously buttons, they can't be just regular buttons, something which is sewn properly with the strength of the machine.
You get to sew the buttons with the machine?
Sorry?
You get to sew the buttons with the machine?
Yes, sir. If you do it individual, it'll take you for long. Yeah. So yeah, we don't just make uniforms that are just simple. I'm looking at a sturdy, strong uniform that when you wear it, you'll say, where did it come from? And I need to get another one. What I like what I get from a lot of parents coming to buy uniforms. They come to buy their uniforms and they say, I used to buy at City Clothing.
Yeah.
What makes it even better than that is when a grandfather comes with the son and their kid. It's generational.
Yeah.
Same way like how I'm trying to do it with my family here, it's generational. That same theme must continue. We got the background here, we got our boilers which do steam irons. And they're phenomenal because my friend there, you can see he's left the iron like that. If you leave your iron on the table at home, it's going to burn.
Yeah.
So there's steam going through it all. So it's never going to get stuck. And we're making skirts right now there, folding it one time. And it's wonderful. I mean, might be a little bit old-fashioned, and today the trends are, if you look around Europe and the like, there's something which is of an industrial basis. Maybe it's a bigger line, but we've kept the same thing going. This is from probably 70s and 80s now. Just kept it going.
It's a very busy factory, eh?
I mean, it's in town. Now, I want to move it out of town at times. But there's thoughts of, you're going to lose that feel. You're going to lose the authenticity.
Yeah.
And people coming in here, even the way my father works, if somebody doesn't like the way that trouser fits, say it's too long, we'll bring it in here, we'll get the guys to measure up the person, turn it in or cut it off, whatever needs to be done, they adjust it. And while they wait, they get it fixed. So it's done to their perfection, to their size. as we mentioned earlier, our company, City Clothing Factory, have been here since 1962, set up by my big uncle and my dad, and it's a family business, and I'm third generation, so I'm looking after it after having studied in the UK, coming back here, probably in the same line of thought as we just mentioned, that His Excellency wanted everything to be brought from within, and what we have today is a lot of things from outside. And when we look at my factory soon, you will hear that I have 60 workers right now. I used to have my dad used to have my 200 workers, and these are Zambian workers, and we used to have fabric that was from within Zambia. Now it's not the same, times have changed. However, the theme still is the same, where we want to make Zambian products. So my staff in there make uniforms for schools, all the schools in Zambia, protective clothing, we're talking about work suits, overalls, dust coats, combat uniforms, medical wear, the like, chef's uniforms, hospitality, anything even for the game parks, all the like. In fact, our slogan now is dressing the nation. So anything to do with uniforms we can do. We've got also an opportunity whereby we have tried to open up another store, but it's proving a little difficult because as a family we want to stick together and see how we can progress as one unit from one place. It would be nice to go and open up several outlets, but it's proving a little difficult. But at the same time, what we have